Sorcerers! Josh here. And yeah, I want to talk about Dragonlord availability. Now, I will admit, what we are seeing, what we are hearing about the availability of Dragonlord is very alarming. Stores have indicated that they were only able to order up to 10 copies, and even then, there are expectations that those stores may be allocated all the way down to 4 or maybe even just 2 copies for the store. And that's the situation in the US. Throughout the rest of the world, the situation looks like it may be even worse. Obtaining Dragonlord in Europe looks like, yet again, it may be a mountain that has to be climbed in order to just acquire a single copy. More than likely, I imagine a lot of Europeans may have to try to order from the US, yet again, based on what we're hearing and seeing. That is not a good situation. The main problem with a product that is released once per year is that when that product becomes available, and I know this one doesn't technically count as the major release for the year, but there's still been a very long time since we got the last product, so people are very excited to get this new product to change things up a little bit. And if that product isn't readily available, it could become a real issue. And individuals in the community were already not exactly happy with the $59 retail price point. So if the product upon release is going to cost even more than that just because of market conditions, that is not a good place to be. But all that being said, the release has not happened yet. Yes, we're hearing a lot of things that make it seem like acquiring Dragonlord is going to be very difficult. And we may end up paying a price that is even higher than the retail price that has been released. But that has not yet come to pass. And that is what I want to talk about. I have been guilty, and I think many people in the community have been guilty, of making judgments about things that Eric's Curiosa has done before the finalization of whatever that particular thing was. The big case that I always like to talk about is Just a Rock. When Just a Rock was released as a spoiler, the community was up in arms. This card is going to fundamentally destroy the game. It's going to make the Philosopher's Stone and all the cores completely unplayable. And that went on for weeks. And then Arthurian Legends came out. We got Just a Rock. And nothing happened. The card had no impact on play. Sure, some individuals do play it in their deck, and that's fine. But it's not something that has made it so that cores are essentially unplayable. That did not come to pass. And so what I think all of us need to do, myself included, because again, I've been guilty of making judgments before the situation has come to pass, is let Eric's Curiosa have the opportunity to get this product released. And then we see what happens. Now, I know some of you are going to say, well, there should be pre-orders right now. And I get that. But the way this is being distributed seems to be a little bit different. So let's see what happens. Is the product available? Is there something that's going to happen that we are not able to predict that means that the things that we're all worried about happening don't actually happen, just like Just a Rock? So what I'm asking everyone to do is this. let's wait and see. And even with the release at Gen Con, let's say this scenario, at Gen Con, Thursday, Dragonlord completely sells out. There is no more. Or if Eric's Curiosa opts for we're going to divide it up so that we have some available each day. And then Dragonlord sells out within an hour of the vendor hall opening each day. Even if that happens, is that alarming in some ways? Yes. But that's not full regular distribution. And in addition, Eric's Curiosa, in bringing this product to Gen Con, they might not have any idea how much they need to bring. Not to mention the actual logistics of bringing that product to Gen Con. Is it even feasible for Eric's Curiosa to be able to bring 5,000 copies of Dragonlord to Gen Con? I'm sure they have expectations of how much they think they will sell at Gen Con of the Dragonlord product. I'm sure they have a number in mind. And if that number is 1,000, then they're not going to bring 5,000. But let's say they bring 1,000 and there's enough people that they probably could have sold 2. Then what we see is like, oh my gosh, it's even worse than we thought. When in reality, it was just Eric's Curiosa not being able to predict the demand at Gen Con, because that's a very difficult thing to do. You've got 70,000 people. Who knows how many of them are going to want to pick up a copy of Dragonlord beyond the regular sorcery community. New players, people that just walk by and they're like, man, I love Ed Beard Jr. stuff. I'm going to get this thing just to have it. It's very difficult to predict that. So even a sellout at Gen Con doesn't mean that we need to hit the panic button and go crazy and grab the torches, grab the pitchforks, and mob up. We need to see the full release. How does it go? And then once that has happened, the release has happened, the product has released, we need to give Eric's Curiosa the opportunity to react. Because again, they're trying to predict how much is needed for the community. And that's difficult. It's not a science, and they just might not get it right. That's just the way it is. So we need to be able to give them time to, okay, they release whatever product they release, whatever that amount is. And then if the price skyrockets, they may be able to react and say, hey, because here's the thing, right? They say, hey, don't worry. There's more of this. We have more of it. Because at the end of the day, we have no idea how much Dragonlord was printed. We have not a clue. There have been estimates in the community from 7,000 to me saying 25,000, right? We don't know where it's going to fall. We have no idea. And so even if things initially look very tight, it could be that Eric's Curiosa has set a large amount back. They didn't burden the distribution centers with a large amount of Dragonlord. Instead, they have kept it perhaps in their own warehouse of some kind, and it's there, waiting in case something goes awry. So that is what this video is about. I know that we all love this game. I know that we all get passionate about it, myself included. But before we jump to any conclusions that it's not going to be possible to get Dragonlord, that it's going to be an absolute disaster of a release, let's let the release happen. And then, once we see that, and perhaps once we've given Eric's Curiosa enough time to see the situation and say, okay, there is something we can do about this, then at that point, judgments can be made. That's really all I wanted to say. I'm trying more and more to take a step back, because I know how much I love Sorcery. And so I think about it a lot. And the idea of Dragonlord being 10 times its retail price right out the gate, yes, that really bothers me. But I'm also trying to tell myself, hey, let's see what happens first. And then, if the worst comes to pass, yes, then we can say things, then we can talk about it, then we can discuss it, hopefully civilly. And, Eric's Curiosa will hopefully make a statement related to it. They may already have a solution in place for it, so that it doesn't even become an issue. So just try to keep that in mind. That's what I would ask you. Let's see the release. Let's see what happens. And then, if 2 to 3 weeks after release, Eric's Curiosa has not said a thing, the boxes are 10 times retail, okay, then, yeah, let those emotions fly. Within reason. No threatening people, nothing like that. Come on. Just a game. It's just a game. That's what we're doing. It's just a game. And you all know I'm just as much of an offender in that and getting passionate about things as everyone else. But let's try to keep that in mind. And let's definitely give Eric's Curiosa the opportunity to at least release the product before we go hog wild that everything's a disaster. That's it for today. As always, keep on contesting the ride!